Hello, everyone. Welcome to Artists in Sight, where we spotlight some of the best visual artists in the Kansas City metro area. My name is Brian Vole, and I'm the local arts librarian for Johnson County Library. Our mission for Artists in Sight is to share conversations with artists, their work, their background, and what inspires them. Artists in Sight is an extension of Johnson County Library's exhibitions program, which brings the work of the best local visual artists to the walls and spaces of Johnson County Library art galleries. Our new season of local art at the library began with the new year and will run until April 21st. Check our webpage for complete information about who's showing where and for interviews with all of our artists at joco.library.org/events/exhibitions. Our guest today is Brittany Noriega. Brittany is a community organizer, artist, and creative thinker. She's dedicated to bringing people together and exploring new ideas for individual and emerging artists to succeed. Brittany is the creator of the local arts magazine, Core, and she enjoys working on public art projects and volunteering in her city. Motivated by studies in studio art and sociology, her personal artistic work is reflective of the study of people and emotions, and often focuses specifically on growth through and after trauma. She creates large-scale, intricate worlds that reflect the emotions and feelings we experience through times of change, struggle, and revival. Brittany Noriega's artwork is showing at the Lenexa City Center Library now until April 21st. Brittany, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I've got a lot to talk about, and I was wondering if we can start out for those who haven't yet seen your work at Lenexa City Center Library. Can you describe for us what they can expect to see?
Sure. Yeah. So the work that I have on display right now is kind of the beginning of my process, studying sociology and kind of intertwining that that practice with art and kind of dealing with my own struggles and just growing personally. It's kind of the beginning of that whole process. So it's pretty cool to have it out there on display.
Are these paintings, and what's the medium or media that makes up the work on display?
The work on display actually is mostly painting. Um, I started kind of playing with the with abstract shapes and colors and seeing how that felt and what that meant to me and kind of the story behind that. But it has really shifted, kind of got into some realism, and then the medium has shifted as well into mostly graphite. So it's kind of a process. It's an entire, I just kind of let it go, see where it takes me. So it's changed, but you can kind of see progression. And all of those pieces, well, a lot of them are on display right now.
So, can you go into the transition from painting to graphite, and what attracts you to using graphite in your work?
Yeah, I um, I love both. I've always loved both painting and drawing, and that's mostly what I focused on in college. So when I started playing with these ideas, actually, a lot of these pieces have a lot to do with grief. So they're kind of darker, but they get lighter. They get happier. But yeah, I was playing with like these different forms in painting, and I was just really drawn to continuing with graphite. I always feel like I can get more detail and um, more little things hidden into the artwork and into the pieces when I'm using my pencil and I just keep it simple. So you can kind of see that transition. There's one really big piece, and it's the life cycle of a moth, and that piece is like the piece um, that kind of started just moving me into graphite.
Let's talk a little bit more about your creative process and how often are you creating, how often are you drawing or painting, and what's your studio like?
I try and make time to sit down and draw every day. Um, my studio is actually anywhere in the house at the moment. We just went through a move and we are not completely settled. So right now I have an 8-foot board that I'm working on in my dining room. So right now it's wherever I land. And with 2 kids, I have 2 little ones, so you just got to roll with it.
I can only imagine what the challenge is to creating on these large scale canvases would be if you're doing it in the dining room with kids running around. But can you give us a little bit more insight into how do you stay focused and like, how long does it take you to finish a typical piece?
Um, yeah, when I started, like when I sat down and I really dedicated a couple hours a day into being creative, and I finally just said, you know what, I'm going for it. I'm going to do it. It was a real challenge with 2 kids to focus, to think. You know, it can be chaotic, but um, just sticking with it and trying and finding ways to get in and get something on the canvas. Now I feel like if there's not chaos around me, I'm not focused.
Mm.
You just get used to your surroundings and make it work.
So you're not quote unquote just an artist. You do a lot of stuff. And I would like to talk about your arts advocacy work.
Yeah.
So, for example, you started CORE, a quarterly zine dedicated to emerging artists and writers in the Kansas City area during the pandemic. So, who or what planted the seed for this zine?
Well, I've always been kind of into the zine crowd, or the zine scene, I guess. I owned a tattoo shop for a number of years, and um, that scene has always just kind of been with me no matter what I do. I think that's something that you can see in my artwork and in me, you know. Um, but yeah, I've always liked zines because I feel like it's such a simple, easy, cheap way to share information. They're typically printed on, black and white computer paper and stapled together and just handed out. And so I thought that was a really cool way to to share information about artists. And I mean, I have upped it a little bit, I guess. It's not black and white, and I send it to a printer and stuff like that. So I guess it's a little more elevated than you might see, but I don't know. I am an emerging artist, and I know um what I would have liked, like starting out, and the kind of things that um, I would have liked while I was doing it, and the struggles that I was going through, and I just thought it would be a cool way to help artists. It's a way to get your name out there. It's a way to practice, interviews and doing that kind of stuff. Um, and so yeah, I just figured, why not just go for it and see how it goes. And it's been really fun.
Where can people go to find copies of Core?
They are all over now in the city at different galleries. They're at the Artist Coalition, um, Interurban Art House, Smalter Art, 21C KC Hotel. But you can go to corezinekc.com and you can find all the copies there. Where to get them? You can read them, the current issue online. You can order them on Kindle if you want. Um, yeah, it's been growing, which is kind of a challenge for a one person show, but it's all good. So
And you're working on, is it the third issue? Um, how many issues have been out already? Been
issue
put out?
3 came out in December.
Okay,
And so I'm currently putting together issue 4, which will be out in March, beginning of March.
great. So I want to ask you also about another project that you've been a part of. You recently collaborated with 7 other artists on Roland Park's 47th Street mural.
Yes.
And what was that experience like? Have you ever done anything like that before? How did
I
that
I
go?
have done murals myself, and I've done group projects before, but I was the supervising artist on this. So I wasn't a creative mind in this project, I guess. I was kind of the back the background organizer and uh, wrangler of people. So it was a challenge, but it was a lot of fun. It was huge, 311 feet, um, a very big group to get together and get organized. But they did amazing, and they had brilliant ideas, and it turned out beautiful. It was a lot of fun.
What was the biggest challenge for you working on that?
Uh, the biggest challenge, I think, from my personal perspective, was kind of figuring out. I mean, we had to deal with um, not only getting the artwork finished and getting it on the wall, but we were working with the city of Roland Park, so we had to organize on the city end, um, with the administrators and that kind of stuff. So those kind of challenges were my biggest, communication between the artists and the city and the police department, and all of those different avenues that you have to keep in check. That was my biggest struggle.
Yeah, I encourage anybody and everybody to go out and see the actual mural in person. It's beautiful, beautifully done, and
They
really
did.
adds, yeah, we need to have more murals like that. So yeah, it's really beautiful to behold. I want to ask you, Brittany, about the last couple of years and how art and creativity, how that has grown for you, your own relationship to your art, um, over the past 2 years.
The past few years, I obviously, middle of a pandemic, very challenging for any person. But creatively, it's kind of been good for me, which is weird to say. But staying in and staying away from the crowds and all the stuff that's going on, typically, I was able to dive in and focus on my art and get a lot done. I was very productive in the last couple of years, and it's really helped me um, build my ideas. This work that's on display right now, like I said, it's just the beginning of these ideas, and so from these pieces, now I'm working on 8 foot long drawings, and um, from this stuff, I had my artwork on uh, Art in the Loop streetcar stop in downtown Kansas City. So it's been a challenge, but it's been good the last few years to be able to dive in and focus on what my artwork means to me and where I want it to go.
That is always good to hear. And what I would like to talk about now, Brittany, you've provided some book recommendations. I'm going to put those up here. So
Yes.
wondering if you can tell us a little bit about these books and why uh, they've spoken to you in one way or another.
Sure. Yeah. I am a huge reader, avid reader. I love to read. I also try to make time to read every day. So these are just a couple of them. But Brene Brown is amazing, especially for the work that I do, what I study, my artwork. Everything that she does has a lot to. She provides a lot of inspiration to me in what I do. She's just a really good human, I think. Um, she's a shame researcher. For those who aren't familiar, um, she has podcasts and books and talks a lot about emotion. Um, so yeah, she's just great, great. Um, Cast, I think, should be required reading for everybody. Um, I don't want to go into that too much, but it's really important book. Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert is just so fun. Just talks a lot about creativity and how to become a more creative person, no matter what you do. And so, yeah, she's just great too.
Well, thank you for that. What else has been inspiring you aside from reading?
Oh, lately, the pandemic, I guess, has been. It sounds really weird to say that. It's uncomfortable to say that, but it has inspired a lot of work that I'm working on currently. Um, and I guess it's kind of a deeper, um, like introspective range of work, but it feels weird to say that the pandemic has been inspiring, but kind of has.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense to me. I feel the same way. Um, so, Brittany, it has been a pleasure speaking with you a little bit about your creative life and your work. Thank you. If you would like to learn more about Brittany Noriega and her work, let me get this up. You can see it. You can go to bmnoriega.art. She's also on Instagram at bmnoriega. And for more information on Johnson County Library programs and services, please visit jocolibrary.org. Thank you so much, Brittany. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.